This is Bishop Samuel Blakes, and you're listening to Real Talk with Mary J.
Welcome to Real Talk with Mary J. I am your host, Mary J. We are sharing all around the world. I am so happy that you decided to stop right here to share with us on tonight. We are coming to you live all the way from New Orleans, and I have a special guest that will be sharing with us on tonight. Listen, Real Talk with Mary J is a social outlet for a positive outcome, and we have a real conversation in store for you guys on tonight. Listen, I want you all to get ready. Go share, go invite, go tag someone in this space on tonight because the conversation is going to be real on tonight, okay? I have sharing with me the one and only Bishop Glenn Allen. He's a pastor, teacher, a visionary leader, a mentor, my friend and my brethren. Let's welcome him on the show today, everybody. Welcome, Bishop Allen. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, doing great. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic, fantastic. I am so happy to have you sharing with us once again. And you
And
know, I can call on you over and over because I just love the depth that you bring to the audience all over the world. And I'm glad to have you to share with us once again out of your busy schedule.
well,
So before we go forward, Bishop, will you let people know all over the world? I know you do so much. I can't keep up with all the stuff you do, but just give them a little bit of what you do and who you are.
all right. I'm Bishop Glenn B. Allen, Senior, pastor of Destiny Christian Center International. We have some other churches in other areas, of course, and I'm just proud to know that God is still using me in this season. We are doing a lot of work with different organizations. We're partnering with a group called Alter. Right now, that's one of our primary focuses that deals with dementia and their caregivers, Alzheimer's. Uh, we just making sure that we touch everyone from youth to the elderly, and trying to make sure we make an impact and leave a mark in the earth realm. That's what we're doing.
Wow, wow. I told you, you're doing so much more from our last conversation, the last time you were on my show. And you just keep it moving.
It's coming.
Yeah, that's what I call a visionary leader. Exactly. So, Bishop, you know, I am just excited about our topic for tonight. We're going into this conversation. We've been talking about relationship status for a while. And of course, we just came out of the holidays as it relates to love and relationships. And so tonight, we're talking about the ideal woman, the ideal woman. I know that's a broad topic. I know
Yes.
it's a broad topic, but I know you can narrow it down and add so much value to the topic discussion on tonight. And Bishop, one of the things that I shared was, do men really know what they want, and do women really know who they are? So we're about to dive into this topic. I know they have so many that wanted to hear this discussion, to hear what you have to say regarding this conversation as well. Are you getting some feedback from me still? I hear a little feedback.
Just a little clicky, but it's fine. We're gonna work through it.
Okay.
Work through it.
So as it relates to the ideal woman, and I'm so ready for it, I can just dive right into this subject matter, but we're going to take it bit by bit because we know we have a lot to exhaust in this chapter as well. So as it relates to the ideal woman, Bishop, I know there are so many different attributes of womanhood, and when it comes to what men really, really want, just kind of take us just step by step through the process of what is it that men are really looking for and what you believe is a good description of an ideal woman?
Well, first of all, let me thank you for allowing me this time on your platform. And of course, we thank God for continuing to use you. And
Thank
we've
you.
been thinking about this. What men want is kind of hard to pinpoint because every man
Want
wants
something
something
different.
different.
Yeah.
So we got to look at every man individually to find out what ideal woman fits him. And so when we look at ideal woman, we got to look at a woman who's ideal for him. Now, the word ideal is directly associated with perfection or suitable. So when we talk about the ideal
Mhm.
for a man, because he know what he wants, I think this is where a lot of men go wrong because they have not pinpointed exactly their prerequisites. I would like to say things that they would like to have in a woman, and so they end up kind of accepting, absorbing people into their lives that don't fit the bill. Now, it may be physical attraction, which sometimes that's suitable. You have a
Mhm.
container that's suitable, but the content is empty. So, so then we don't have anything suitable. Later on, you find out that what you're looking at is just a pretty container, and it was suitable
Yeah.
for aesthetic purposes. But as you go further, you try to figure out life and try to add this to your life to make it better. You don't have any content, so then we find out it's not suitable or ideal for your life. And depending on where you're going, I mean, someone that's just an arm candy may be suitable for you, but
Yeah.
man, that's progressive and going somewhere, he's going to need somebody with some intelligence. So an ideal woman, she for some guys, got to be intelligent. And I was just thinking about this whole deal. When we talk about this, most of us run right to Proverbs 31 when we talk about an ideal woman. But if you
Yeah.
look at the lyrics of that text, it has everything to do with an ideal wife, a wife. And before you can become a wife,
That's
you
right.
have to make sure you're solid with your womanhood.
That's
And
good. That's good.
right,
That's
because
good.
yeah, because a lot of people they jump over trying to be in a different class of existence and maturity without dealing with their womanhood first and becoming holistic in that. And holistically, you need to become a woman, ideal to some qualities that you must have, and then move on to wifehood. But before wifehood, there should always be a preluding of womanhood. How much have you invested in your womanhood? Now, again, aesthetically, this is where our world system has brought us, where we invest a whole lot in the way we look. Women take care of their hair, they're getting BBLs and additions and reductions and, putting on labels and brands. You're looking great, but there may not be greatness lying on the inside of you because you have not made an internal investment. All of your investment is on the outside. So ideally, you look great, but there's no content again. So uh, before you before we start talking about what men want, you got to make sure that you've done some investigation in yourself to make sure, or investments in yourself to make sure that you have become something that you can be proud of as a woman. So,
Bishop, you said all of these additions and subtraction,
right, right.
all of
So,
these adjustments, right? All the exterior, but nothing interior.
right. So you spend thousands of dollars on surgery and making sure that you have extra this and
Mm,
extra that.
that's good, sir. That's
They
right.
spend $20 on a book to get your mind together, give you some education on who you should be. So you could have
Wow,
saved yourself a whole lot of money if you'd have just invested in your thinking and your mentality rather than your physicality.
that
Uh,
is so
when
good.
all goes down, all that's going to change. The older you get, for a man, it's good to have someone who's invested, make sure they take care of themselves. I think that's good to some degree. But what good is that if you just got a pretty item that you can't get any substance from? So we got women got to learn to understand, man. The investment got to be on the inside, and ideally become, perfecting yourself as a woman, mastering that before you master anything else. before you go on to be a parent, before you go on to be a wife or anything else. But you need to master the fact that you are a woman, and how much have you put into that?
Wow. Look, I know you were going to come straight out the gate with all of it right up front in your face. I just knew that. But listen, you said so much. First of all, I'm so glad that you brought out the point of the Proverbs 31 woman. And as you said, so many people, women, jump right into that, trying to be the Ruth, trying to be the Esther, want to be the one that is chosen, the one that, is picked, and spend a whole lot of time putting their energy and their time and efforts all into the cosmetic, the makeup, the shell. But crazy comes in pretty packages too, right? They come in pretty packages. But
Yes,
so what are we investing as women on the inside? Some substance that will really take root to our soul, that can help us to the next dimension in our lives, to get to the next future. A lot of times, Bishop, women are seeking for an opportunity, for the right now kind of guy. Of course, a ideal woman really would want someone that they can grow in partnership with and grow and develop a promising future with. But as you said, they work on becoming the wife and have not even became the woman first. And
right.
becoming the woman first is tapping into you and knowing who you are as an individual person with your own set of goals and dreams, knowing your purpose. I say all the time, before we connect with somebody else's vision and dream and who they are, we have to really know who we are and where we're going and what is it that we want. Because if we do not know that, then we are subject to wanting that person to make us happy, wanting that person rather, to secure us, to validate us, to affirm us. I was talking to a young lady not too long ago, and she was talking about her feeling alone all the time. And I said, why do you feel alone? And she couldn't even tell me why she felt alone. She could not explain why she feel alone, but her being apart was always connected to being with someone. That's why God is giving me the book right now, I'm Lonely and I Like It. And it's to show women how, not so much, and we gotta, it's not that deep. I know he promised never to leave us, nor will he forsake us. I know he's with us till the end. But we have to really get away from being so churchy, all of the church rhetoric, and trying to make it super spiritualizing everything. But when I said, well, why are you alone? Why do you feel like you're alone? You have family, you have your parents there, you have a good relationship with God. Why do you feel alone? She could not answer it. And I knew the reason why she could not answer that was because she was used to being in a relationship, and now that she's not, why she feels alone.
Well,
So
I
can you
got well, I
share
got
with us?
let me just say this. A lot of times we feel lonely or alone because, when we are preoccupied with someone else, we don't have to deal with ourselves.
Yes,
See, that time being alone is for you to nurture you. And you have been so accustomed to nurturing someone else that, you don't want to have any time with yourself. Well, you haven't invested any time in yourself. And I say this all the time, you're so used to being with somebody that you lost yourself in the whole process. And the process is this: when I ask you what do you like to do, Mary J, and then you turn around like the woman from America, whatever you like
whatever
to do.
you like.
So that's because you haven't had any alone time, and so you won't be so lonely and desperate. And I like that word goes along with that, because a lot of times we make desperate situations or desperate decisions because we don't want to be alone, and the fear of that detachment, or that being by yourself for a moment. Uh,
Hmm.
you may be accustomed, but you never discover you and never learn yourself, because you spent all your years learning somebody else.
That's right.
And you lost yourself in the process, which is so horrible. Because if I ask you now, what what do you like about life, or what can we do to help you? You have no clue because you're giving your life to everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that, that same young lady, I asked her, who is she? I say, who are you? Tell me who you are. She could not.
No.
And so often women try to identify who they are by the person that they're with, and even with that, they're looking for titles, and I'm not saying all women, because all women are not that way. I'm not that way. But there are some that are, superficial, and that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for to be that powerful woman, to tap into all of that. And let me say this, and I want to be transparent through here. That's why this is Real Talk, Mary J. I remember a particular time that I remember saying that, first of all, I always talk about how super religious I was, how so deep I was, how really I was this self-righteous person. And I remember a time saying that I did not know, and I don't know if I shared this with you before or even on the show, my weakness. I remember saying that when we would have a discussion, and I would say, well, gosh, I don't know what my weakness is. I don't know, because I don't do this, I don't do that. I don't, I'm naming all of these things that I really don't do. And I could not, and this was a family meeting that I had too. And it was when, with my children and all. And this was years and years and years ago. But I could not identify with my weakness.
Mm.
What that said to me, fast forward, as I really matured in the things of God, was that I was self-righteous and I couldn't identify any faults in me, which is playground for the enemy. Because when you don't know what your weaknesses are, I can tell you he does, right? And if you don't know, he will show you exactly what it is. And so even though my children took that as something to be, like a strength, and then it also puts them in a position where they feel like they can't come to you because you're superwoman, you're super mom won't understand, mom doesn't deal with this kind of stuff, right? And so I want to say that to other women too. Know what it is. You have to know. If you don't know, the enemy would definitely show it to you, and he showed it to me, and it shocked me. It really did. So we have to really know, because if it's just like an opponent, if you don't know who you're up against, you don't know the strategies, you don't know where your weak points are, where the enemy will come in. And I love boxing, I'm an action girl, but if you don't know what your weaknesses are, he can come in for the jab and will blindside you and set you, just watch it and know exactly what it is that's working within you. So we have to know who we are, as you said, first, before we can become that ideal wife or anybody else.
That self-righteous piece is big
Yes.
because we're taught to really, really project a perfect image, and then we kind of go into this denial of ourselves, man. I'm not any of those things because I'm filled with the Holy Ghost, I'm saved, and all those wonderful things. That's great, but if you're not in tune with what rings your bell, then
Yes.
you're faking it. You're really faking it, and I think this is the perfect way to say it, that you are imperfectly perfect, and
Mm-hmm.
because I
Very
do,
good.
I'm not there, but I'm working on my perfection, and so the ideal woman is always evolving. She's not there, and so we kind of project this image. I got this super spiritual persona, but
Mm,
that's not really, that's not realistic. And then you put pressure on people around you to make them think that you're not even human. And
exactly.
seriously, I just don't like being around those people. I don't want to be around people who can't identify with their humanity. We all
Exactly.
struggle with, and so we're evolving. We're getting there, and every woman should know that you're not, ideally perfect yet, but you're moving toward the goal of it. You should be pressing toward it, but we grow in this thing. We grow in grace and in knowledge, and even for relationships, many of us jump off into relationships and we don't have any relationship intelligence. And
Mm,
you jump into it, think you know everything, and you don't know anything.
That's right.
You watched television and thought you got a playbook on marriage, or you watched a movie, or you watched someone else, and you watch your parents. You thought that was relational intelligence, but it's really
Right.
not, because you're watching them, but it's not what fits your situation, so it's not suitable. So we talk about ideal. It's got to be an individual thing, and you got to first of all get in tune with yourself and be willing and ready to deal with other people as well.
Definitely get in tune with yourself. Bishop, while you were sharing that, I was laughing in my spirit because it reminded me of a situation that happened with me years ago. I was in my early 20s, and I had just got filled with the Holy Ghost with the evidence of speaking in tongues. Didn't know much about what to actually do. I knew it was to build me up. I did know that it was to build up my spirit, man. And I found myself I was in this relationship dating this guy, and I was at his house. And this is for all of our ladies who are super religious, especially if you were like me back then. And we got into a situation where we were really getting to be intimate. It was real heated, and I remember him leaving out of the room to go do something over in the other room. I'm not sure what he went to do. And there I was, this little church girl, right? That wanted to be walking in right standing with God, wanting to live righteous, understood the Holy Spirit, but was just beginning to know more about Him. And there I was speaking in tongues in the next room while he's over on the other room. I'm praying in tongues, thinking that God, God, oh God, you got to make a way for me to get out of this. I can't stand this, and I want to be pleasing to you, and I don't want to do this. And I'm praying in tongues. And, the Holy Spirit just said, if you don't get up from there, if you don't get yourself up, like, and we super spiritualize everything, because I don't know if I'm just talking about me, but everything we put all of the work on God. We say, God's got to do it. God's got to fix it. God got to tell us. God got to show us. We need confirmation after confirmation, and we over spiritualize everything, and we don't even use half of the sense, the common sense that our Creator had put in us. And it was just that simple. The Holy Spirit was like, "Get up, get
Leave.
up,
Just get out of there. That's what you got
get
to do.
out of there."
You said that
By the time he came back, he looked at me like, "What happened to her?" And I was sitting there like, "I can't do this. I
yeah,
can't look like this.
well,
I can't do this.
his,
I got
his
to go."
biggest mistake was allowing you to have that prayer time. You
You're
should have stayed in
probably
the
right.
room, brother. Yeah,
Yeah,
but if you can identify with those situations, and you rarely hear people admitting that they had a moment where things could have went left, or they did. I mean, my
hmm
testimony is not always as good as yours. I didn't always speak in tongues and pray and ask the Lord to remove me. I just pray that, Lord, don't let nobody interrupt right now. So,
yeah,
and I pray afterwards, Lord. I don't know why I did that, and I did it because I wanted to. But we got
right.
to become very real with ourselves, and you can't get better if you keep concealing. I always say this: you will never get healed of what you conceal.
Yes, that's good, sir.
If you keep concealing things and acting as if it does not exist and living in denial, God cannot heal it. And the moment you put it on the table and bring it to the light, then God can do
hmm
something with it. But if you keep it hidden as if it doesn't exist, and I say you should run out and tell the world about it, but you
Right,
should at
right.
least be able to tell God about it. He already knows. So
That's right.
ask Him for deliverance. Yeah.
And acknowledge it. Be true to you. Be true to you. Be true to what you're dealing with. And and that's one of the reasons why I am writing this book. I'm lonely and I like it, because the first thing when we hear the word lonely, it's then we, oh no, you're not lonely. If you're lonely, you avoid the presence of God, and you're this and you're that. But there are some women that are dealing with this, and they always feel that, in order for me to be where I need to be, I have to be in a relationship. I was that woman at one time, didn't understand that, you can be single and whole and satisfied. You don't need a husband or a marriage to keep you from, fornicating. You have the power over your own members to do this on your own. And a lot of times, if I can just be real, there's so many women that are church women. And I always say, a man is looking for a good church girl, not always just to wed her, but to bed her, because a lot of times our heart get entangled and we feel like, okay, I want to do this right now, and I want to get this right, and we holding on to somebody that we weren't supposed to be with in the beginning, but we're holding on because we've invested. Now we've given ourselves to that person, and he knows that. And that's why he can string this good church girl along the way to say, hey, because she's forgiving, she's loving, she's patient, she's understanding, she's gonna forgive, she's gonna be there with them. And a lot of times we feel like we can love them through it, we can fix them, as though he's gonna change because he's with us or he laid with us, right? We're gonna fix him. Listen, if the Holy Ghost didn't do it, if God didn't do the pouring in and the healing, what makes you think that you can come along and get the job done? So can you deal with that for us for a moment, sir, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I tell you what that sometimes looks like, again, because you don't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you, instead of taking this moment or season to do so, because you're so desperate for company, what you do is keep jumping from one situation to the next, compromising,
Yes.
just compromising what you, what your morals are, because you don't want to be alone. So now, in the course of a year, I've entertained 5 different people, and then you got to look back at it and think about, man. Well, one of the things I thought about today when I was thinking about, a woman that is ideal, one of the qualities I would believe is a generic quality is discretion. Discretion, and that does not mean you keep everything secret. It means that I guard my reputation, and I can't have my name out there where everybody says they were able to access me in that kind of way. And
That's
so,
right.
when you go to a store to purchase something as a value, you can't just go and put your hands on it. You got to ask for someone to show it to you, because it's in a case. And that's if it's, just say you're going to the store to buy a Timex. Well, you can run to the rack and grab one of those. But if it's
Yeah.
Rolex, you got to ask to see that. They put on gloves and they lay it all out for you because it's precious. And so when
That's
women
right.
get the idea in their minds that, you know what, man, I'm not to be handled like that, and I got to guard my reputation because, I don't want to go through life, and over the course of 3 years, I've been with 20 people, and without without understanding that it's tainting your reputation, and not just your morals, but your name is being tainted. And women don't get that. It's not just the name of a man.
Mm.
The name of a man can bounce back.
That's
A
right.
man, a man can bounce back from having a horrible reputation. But a woman, she doesn't understand it. Her reputation, once it's tainted, she's marred. And I know women like that, man. They probably messed up years ago. I know
Hmm.
you know some of them as well, but they messed up years ago, and they can't get the stain off of their name because of their looseness and their inability to just chastise or chase themselves and say, "I won't let my reputation." So what we do, we get involved for the moment, not understanding that moment can turn into a monument, and,
Yeah.
and people will look at it forever as your identity. Now, that's not fair. I'm not going to say that's fair, that women and men, that's an unfair assessment because we got a double standard for men and women. But
Right.
think about it, at some point in life, you got to stand and say, wait, now I'm not going to let my reputation get any worse. It's like fixing your credit. You
Hmm.
jacked it up when you're young, and the older you get, you understand I can't mess my credit up anymore. And that's, you start guarding, start protecting it, and
Yeah.
stay your name and your reputation. You got to use discretion, man. I can't have my name out there like that.
Right, right. And you're saying that's not fair. It's not fair, but it is Bible. When the woman was caught in the very act of the adultery, the woman was cast down and was ready to stone her, but the man was able to not. He wasn't even present. He was not even there. So it's definitely the way that it has been, really formed in the sight of not only society, but even in the church. We deal with this stuff in the church. A pastor can be the worst whoremonger there is, and pray for pastor. He's dealing with whatever, and we're going to cover him. And he's back building his church and his congregants, and all of them are following. Let that woman come through there and do that. She's made ashamed. She's put out. You know what I'm saying? She's cast away. Let her go start a church and see how many followers she gets. So it's real. And so we have to guard our reputation. We have to cover ourselves as women. We have to protect our name. And not only that, you're saying, Bishop, the stain on our reputation, but what about the stain on our body, the stain on our mental consciousness? That's just a place that we not do. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. The soul ties that when I think about it, that's why I'm lonely and I like it. I'm all right. Go ahead. Go ahead. When I think about it gets me.
You had an epiphany. Oh, I'm all right.
Yeah. But I'm serious. But listen, when we as women really think about this thing, I don't care how fine he is. I don't care how good looking. He can be powerful, anointed. He can be all of that. Very charismatic. I mean, saying all the right things, dressed well, smelled, all of the stuff, ladies, wine and dine, all the chivalry. But when you think about who you are and the vision that God has given to you and your purpose and where you're going, think about that for a moment. Can you go there with him? And when you get there, is he able to help you carry this? Are you able to help him carry the weight and the mandate that is upon his life? And when we don't look at, we don't see our future. We're not seeing vision, but we wanna feel good. We want to lay in the moment of that. And when you wake up from off of that stuff, it's just like it's not even worth it when you think about it. And so, you have to make decisions. I remember John Maxwell said something, and it was so powerful to me when I heard him say it. He said that, life is just one big choice. He said the decision that you make today, you will have to govern it the rest of your entire life. When he said that, I was like, oh my gosh. That was a whole lot, a little bit of nugget packing so much power, because when you think of the decision that you make today that will last a lifetime, when you think about the person you lay with, when you think about the person that you're married to, you gotta see that how that affects each dynamic of your life, what the history holds, even especially if you have children. Oh my goodness.
That you're seen with publicly.
Oh gosh.
So, do you want their identity to be linked to you? Do they match? You talk about being equally yoked. You would talk about all these things. Can you? Do you carry the same mantle that I carry? Are you carrying the same anointing? Are you carrying even the same seriousness of my life? Are you headed in the same direction? So if I'm with you, am I carrying you, or can you help me? Ideally, the woman, if she's thinking about getting married, she ought to be a helpmeet. Now, that does not mean that you're a helpmate, a roommate to help me pay the bills, but a helpmeet means that you can you can help me do the things I can't do.
That's right.
So, there's a balance. That's what she brings to an ideal woman, brings a balance to a man's life, not offset the balance, not bring all the things. Which brings me to this piece. The world has really styled women to do a man's job and to work in a man's role and to do the things that a man's supposed to do. So somewhere along the line, she's lost a very valuable and precious piece of herself, and it's called femininity. So the ideal woman is one who has mastered her femininity. You tap into it, because when God extracted from Adam his soulmate Eve, He took a part out of Adam that Adam could not even he could give himself. Only a woman can do this. And I tell women this all the time. If you're acting masculine, you've disqualified yourself to even be a woman to a man, because he's going to look at you as competition. But when you present a man with femininity, when you learn to, not be that abrasive and just, approach him with a soft answer, and he can't deal with that. You have disarmed him. You become his kryptonite.
That's right.
You think that you're becoming weak. No, your strength is in your femininity. So the ideal woman knows how to be feminine when she's even threatened by masculine. So because she knows there's no power. Think about Adam. I mean, Adam ate of a fruit that he knew he shouldn't have ate of.
Right.
Because of femininity.
I heard you do a teaching on that one time. That was so good. Yeah.
I mean, man, if she could get Adam off his game, and look throughout the whole Bible, the greatest fall of man has always been a woman's femininity. So look at Samson and Delilah. I mean, he knew what the consequences were going to be, and he still couldn't hold back. So, it's just, if a woman can master her femininity, and you can't do that practicing on a man, you got to have that innate quality. And so, femininity is not sex, by the way, because
that's right.
Most women are, when we talk about femininity, they go off to mastering how good they are in the bed. And you think that's
temporal.
So a man looks at that and says, well, what else?
Yeah.
What else do you have? Because if you can't be my encourager, if you can't be my cheerleader, if you can't be my counselor, if I can't talk to you about things that like my ride or die, if you can't relate to me intellectually, if you can't help me figure life out, then the bed didn't mean anything to me. You can get that anywhere. Any woman has that same attribute. Now, what else do you possess? And most women don't get it, but a man, that's how he looks at you. He puts you on that scale. Well, sex is good. I got that's cool. That's a good piece. But what else do you have?
Right.
And so femininity is not sex. It's your ability to master yourself in temperance and bring your real self to the table, which is what God put inside of you. Tap into that, man. I tell you, if a woman does that, I promise you, y'all could rule the world.
You heard that, ladies. Listen, Bishop, right there. I want to take this time out to tell all of those listening audience that are watching now, go share. Please tag someone in this space. I want you to go share this conversation with someone. Bring them go share it with our women's group, with anyone that you know that can benefit from it. And I know that so many can benefit from this conversation. So when we're talking about mastering your femininity, just being soft and tender and lovable and understanding and patient and kind and gentle, all of those attributes that you said, so sir, that allures, right? If Eve was able to do it to Adam, man, and God taking her from Adam, from his rib cage, I got to go in there, the place that covers all of his protective part, his heart, ladies. Right. You were taken from the heart of man that covers all of his vital organs. When we think about taking from the rib cage, we always hear from pull from the side, but we don't understand the protective covering that God took us, because he knew that we can get to a man's heart. He knew that we can really get to a man's heart, through his mind. So all of what you're saying, Bishop, as it relates to the femininity of a woman, ladies, is not what we think. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can for the bishop right now. This is real talk, but it's not what's in the bed between your legs. It's not that. It's what's between your ears. It's what's between these two ears, the head, the mindset, is what actually stimulates the male's intellect. And because as Bishop was saying, they can get that from anywhere. They can get that from the next woman or the next one or the next one, whoever it is. But what is it that we have to offer as a feminine lady that can add value to help build that dream or that goal or whatever it is that we come there to do, and that is to be the help me. So, Bishop, will you share with us some of those attributes that soft life, that's right, some of those attributes that you spoke of as it relates to the beauty and the beautiful and the feminine qualities of the ideal woman? And I know you said you can't speak for every man and what every man wants, and neither can we speak about, every woman, but there is a framework of what a gentleman, I should say, since we're not going to deal with every man, what a gentleman would be looking for in that feminine partner. Can you kind of share some of that with us?
Even though you're feminine, and that's a great power to have, but there ought to be some type of independence. And I say
Good.
independence, that means that you know how to take care of yourself. Most women, well, I'm not going to say most, a large percentage of women today have been trained to find someone to take care of them. But the problem with that is if you're not able to take care of yourself, I can't really align you with being my business partner. That's what part of my life is about,
Good.
taking care of business. Because you have not learned to take care of you, then I'm taking on a liability, not an asset. You're just like another person, a child to me. So now I have to, I have to do it all over again. I have to raise someone else's child. But when you are independently taking care of yourself, that doesn't mean that you don't know how to step out of the way and let a man take care of the things he needs to take care of. And I think that's what Ruth won, Boaz with, because he let her take care of gleaning some things. And women need to do the same thing, reverse that, and say, you know what, a man's going to feel like a real man when I can lose some of my independence, but have enough to take care of, just in case something go wrong with him, I can still take care of business.
Yes.
And if I don't know business, I don't know how to pay the bills, I don't know how to, what a mortgage looks like or what a car note looks like, and someone just grabs me straight out the house, then that part is vital. Another great attribute men look for, because we thrive for respect.
Mm-hmm.
Our love language is respect. When a woman is disrespectful in her verbalization or articulation of how she feels, you get upset, you just say anything, you using vulgarity, you just talking brashly, then you put him in an arena that he may have to disrespect you because he feels like you disrespected him, and so a woman got to know how to respect him enough to say, you know what, that's enough said. We come back and revisit this. We'll circle back to it, but not going toe to toe with him. Respect
Right.
him always as a man. Another great quality, and I think you put this at the top, is honesty. Um, because when men find women that I don't know, trying to really trying to project an image that does not exist, or maybe some things that are not in place. I'm not telling you to go back and tell them your whole history, but if you're interested in marrying someone, you got to at least tell them, what your credit score really looks like, or don't, don't, don't set up a booby trap for them, and then he married you, find out you got a 400 credit score. You said on your page you got 420 friendly, and we thought that you smoked a little weed, but that was really a credit score. So honesty is such a great asset. Can I trust what you're saying? Do I
Right.
do I have to put everything you say on the scale and weigh it? Because now I can't trust nothing that you say.
Absolutely.
Um, you know, that honesty piece is very, very important. How you feel, you got to be honest about that. What's bothering you? You got to be, and don't just harbor things and be dishonest saying everything's fine. Then one day just explode.
Mm,
No, we want you to be honest. Tell us what's going on so we can
that's
at least
good.
give opportunity to fix it. So all those qualities are ideally in place. And go back to independence for a moment. I think that in this day and time, she ought to be so in tune with her career that she becomes an addition to him I mean, she's going to work. You're not just waiting on Louis bags and Gucci bags and gifts, but what can you contribute to this? What can you contribute to this? How can you make life better? What do you bring to the table? And it starts your independence, knowing that you have something to take care of yourself. And I like to know, even if something happens to me, that if I die or something, that you're able to carry on. I know so many women have been crippled.
Yeah.
After a man dies, you don't know what to do. And they lose everything because they had no management skills, they had no life skills. So independence is so important to an ideal woman, I believe.
That's great stuff. Good stuff, sir. Independent. You had me laughing about the credit score she come with. Yeah, but you have to be, as we said before, an independent thinker to really know who you are first, to know what you have to offer, what value you bring to the relationship. A lot of times we're looking for that fulfillment from our partner. And a lot of times we have women that are waiting for that ideal mate to come before they can do this or have that. And I say now, work on you, work on your goals, your visions, and your dreams, what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you're desiring. And this is the best time to be doing that, because you don't have anybody to really give an account for. You don't have anybody to have to share that time with as well. So you can build on yourself and work on those goals and dreams. Those are some really, really good attributes, as you said, Bishop. I'm still trying to work on that feedback that I think I'm getting back from this. But this is a really, really good discussion. All of what you've shared with this conversation, as it relates to the ideal woman. And the ideal woman really has a sense of independency, not so much a codependence, just to be with someone that is so clingy and codependent and always, searching for you. And, you can't do anything by yourself. Where you at? Where are you going? I called you and you ain't answering me back. All of that, those type of things. Ladies, come on, and I'm with you now, but we gotta ease up on some of that, because it says a lot about your esteem. It says a lot about you being secure and who you are and what you have, what value you have. I remember a friend of mine was in a relationship, and when I saw the young lady, and I saw how she was just holding on to him, and he walked out of the space, and she looking, and we had a conversation. I'm like, guy, I said, boy, you got something. And he didn't understand what I was saying. I said, she is a baby, she is so immature for you. She won't be able to handle. And he was looking at me like, what? And sure enough, as I said it unfolded, it unraveled all of what I was saying. So we have to be secure before we even get a partner, before we get yoked up to someone else. Know who that man is. Know what he stands for. Know what his mandate is, or whatever it is that he's doing. If he meets somebody, he's a businessman. He has to negotiate businesses, right? He's going to deal with people from all different angles, all walks, and and you can't be so intimidated by another woman's presence. So you have to be confident in that, and our men have to be watchful of that as well, to understand, if this is a person that is ideal for my life and I already know where I'm headed, can they really go with me to that next level? I know they're good in the moment. I know they're good for what I'm doing and they make me feel good, but can they really go with me to the next level? And what you said, are you proud to be with that person? Shouldn't be dating anybody, and if somebody come, you like, oh Lord, I hope they don't see me with
No, I hope they don't have to talk. Now you just be quiet, just say nothing. That's the most fearful piece.
Oh my goodness. If somebody
can't engage in this conversation, so please just sit there and be pretty. And that's a horrible situation. If man, somebody get off on a conversation, you saying the most off the wall stuff. No, we'll pass it. Just Just be quiet, baby. Just be quiet.
Yeah, so you already know that's not the ideal person for your life, you know. So we're joking about this, people, but this is real stuff that really happens. Like, why would you spend time with or want to be seen with somebody that you can't be proud of, that you can't take into any arena, whether it's with your family or at church or at an event or in business? Why can't you be proud? And if you find somebody that you have to be so guarded with, you know, you have to kind of let them know what to expect and how to be before you get there, then you might want to think about that. You might want to think about, so where are you going, what's next?
You know,
Because if you have to string them and spoon feed them every single thing, then if you go higher than that, where does that take you with that person?
PJ Morton has a song, and man, it tickles me to listen to it because he talks about, I don't want to go through your phone. And
Mm,
man, it's like, there's so many people who are private detectives. They're looking for information, looking for, you can't leave your phone laying down. They're going through your iPad, they're going through your Facebook, patrolling
mhm.
all of it. And you're living a miserable life. Now, if you're
Yes,
living that miserably, woman
right.
or man, that you have to do all that patrolling, uh, that means you don't trust, and that means you
Mhm.
shouldn't be in a relationship at all. I just don't believe that you should look for anything. If
I,
it's going to be there, it'll come to you. But
I totally agree.
seek and ye shall find, even if it's not there. So, it's just a level of insecurity that's unnecessary, especially in adults. We were children. You dating a little girl, and you think she's more interested in somebody else. You may run by the house, see somebody around there. But as you get older, man, nobody has time for that. Look, uh, you can't stop whatever someone's going to do, and ideally,
That's
if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you don't have to worry about that. So, um, women and men both need to really kind of get off that, because man, so many people are living miserably because someone else is just insecure. I know men that are insecure. Their wife can't do anywhere. Go kind of keep her like in a cave. They don't want her to go out nowhere.
right.
Don't want her to talk to anyone.
Talk
She's sitting,
about it.
and it's bondage. I mean, go out to dinner. I'm out here, and if you ever go out with me anywhere, I'm talking to everybody, but you can't talk to nobody. Now you just
Right.
because I'm insecure, but you have to endure my social behaviors because I'm a social butterfly. When I go out, I'm meeting everybody. Everybody gonna know my name when I leave. Yeah, but you better sit there and be quiet because I got some insecurities. Man, come on, get
Right.
your and we got to get beyond it. So ideally, for those situations, that's a big place of discomfort. One of the things I was thinking about, I'll just roll over here for a second. I was thinking about a new pair of shoes. Ideally, they look great. New pair of shoes. Man, I bought some shoes, man. As a matter of fact, I got a pair now. They're gorgeous shoes. Gorgeous, man. I put them on. Everybody's like, man, them some bad shoes. But they
Mhm.
are the most uncomfortable shoes. Now I got another pair of shoes that I've had for a while, and they're broken in. They're not as beautiful as these shoes, but they are the most comfortable shoes. So this is
Yeah.
what ideally we want to impress people, and we'll be with what looks good, but it's
Hmm.
uncomfortable for us. So at some point in life, and where I am in life right now, at 61 years old, I just want to be comfortable. So I don't
Yeah.
care if I don't like what I'm with. And I'm really trying to tell a woman this tonight that, aesthetically, you may not have the Coke bottle figure, but the guy who's really looking for someone of substance, he's beyond that. Don't pay no attention to social media, magazines, and all the stuff you see on television, because those are all people that are so unrealistic. They're just put on as images to keep some women thriving for some that's unrealistic and unachievable.
Superficial.
But
Right.
a real man is looking for a woman of substance. So you can start putting all the weave in. you can do your natural thing, and you can stop doing all the adjustments, because a real guy, now you may catch a guy who's into all this stuff, but he's a temporary person.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the Barbie doll for this week. Next week there's going to be another one. So he's not going to be satisfied with one. And so a woman got to find her comfort spot and know, this is what I'm coming with. Have you ever noticed this? People get good with what you're good with.
Mm-hmm.
Good with yourself,
they're good with you.
Then people get good with you. A man will get, when you have confidence. I've seen women weigh 300 pounds, walk into a room, and she feel like she's the finest thing, and all the guys talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Other girl with some insecurities, she bad, but she don't know it. And she's sitting on there moping, and nobody looks at her, because as you think about yourself,
right,
so does other people. So get good with you, be good, celebrate you, feel confident, walk in with that air of confidence, and everybody else will get good with you. They will. So
that's right. Your aura is your essence. That aura that you have when you walk into a space, and I talk about it in my book as well. Your aura is your advertisement, and so whatever aura that you bring to a space, if you walk in and like you have somewhere to go, everybody want to find out where you're going, what you're doing. But when you have this, demeanor that you're not confident, you're not sure about who you are, where you are, even where you're going, then it kind of makes everybody see what you're seeing, because you eventually teach people how to treat you. You teach people how to respond to you, so whatever energy that you're bringing, sending out, you're getting out, you're attracting all of that same energy right back. So yes, sir, that is really, really good.
yeah.
So Bishop, in closing, we have a few more minutes. What is it that you want to share with our listening audience, particularly to our women, as it relates to the ideal woman, and to just put themselves in a position to be all that they can be?
I always say this, and I think it's important that, first of all, you are uniquely and wonderfully made. So, I want you to up yourself in value, because again, if you don't think of yourself as that creation of God created you. He created a masterpiece uniquely. So ideally, you're already what you need to be inwardly. God has already put it within you, like a caterpillar and a butterfly. You're evolving until, and that isolation, that place that we just talked about, being lonely or being alone, is where that development comes into place. So take this season and walk it out. Walk in your truth. Walk in your identity. Develop these things. Master your femininity, and get good with yourself. So when you do evolve into what God is calling you to be, it is a beautiful butterfly. No matter what other folks' opinions or the stereotypes that are put out there, you'll be good with yourself, and consequently, everybody else will as well. But give it time and space to evolve, and don't think it's all going to happen overnight. Mary J, we've been around for a second, and we talked about our younger days, but I'm not afraid to tell my age of 61. I'm just kind of mastering some pieces I thought I should have had in place 20 years ago. So God has given me time to develop and become who I am. So every experience, even the bad ones, work out for your good. They are developing tools and learning and skill sets that you're going to need for the next venture. And I think everything that we go through sets us up for the next move of God in our lives. So you may be being prepared for something awesome, but it took all these bumps and bruises to get you there. So, but evolve, keep evolving. Don't stop changing. Don't stop getting better. Don't give up. And I'll leave you with that. Just don't quit. Keep moving. There's something coming your way that's better than what it's been. And just know that, and don't give up on yourself. God has not given up on you. So don't give up on yourself.
That's so awesome, sir. Thank you so much for sharing with us on tonight. I tell you, time flies. Time flies when we're talking and we're just pouring out, and there's so much substance and so much wealth that you bring to our list. Will you let the people know how know can connect with you on social media as well.
Okay, you can find me on YouTube, Glenn B. Allen or Destiny Christensen International, or on Facebook. You can look for me on Glenn B. Allen or Destiny Christensen International, or you can also find me on Instagram, Bishop GB Allen. We're right here in Fayetteville, Georgia, 182 North Glen. Our services are at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Wednesday at noon, we have a special Bible study called Lunch with the Lord, that we eat food and spiritually fed. And then Wednesday night online on Facebook and YouTube, we have our online Bible study. So we got a lot of things going on. Men's gathering, we call it Mentality. Our women's ministry is exploding. So many things are going on here, man. It's just the Lord is really kind of keeping me real busy in this season. So I'm just thankful to God for this opportunity to share with you tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Busy, productive is always good. That keeps you going in the right direction, keeps you flowing in the right direction as well. And thank you, sir, so much for just taking time out of your busy schedule, because when we have these real in-depth discussions like this, I love to call on you to bring value to our audience. And I see we have those who are sharing with us on tonight, and so I know they're going to receive so much wealth from all of the nuggets that you poured out in this conversation on tonight, sir. So thank you once again, Bishop, my friend, Bishop Glenn Allen. Everybody, thank you for sharing with us. Bishop, did you have a happy Merry Monday on tonight?
Yes. And I'll tell you what, it's so easy, man. That's why I like interacting with you, because we just a great tag team, and I appreciate it. I got to get you on one of my platforms, so it may be a 2-hour session though, because we get to talk and time flies by. But I'm
Right.
grateful for what you bring as well to the kingdom. It is so rich and so real, and I think that's what we need in this season. You bring a realness. It's beyond just the religious stuff that we, the religious rhetoric. You bring the real to the table. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much for being the real talk, Mary J.
Thank you for coming on. Happy Merry Monday, everybody.